Hey guys, today on Watch with Poppy, we are talking the latest episode of Once Upon a Time. So the beginning of this episode starts where the last episode left off. We are out at the town line, and Belle has crossed over the line, so she doesn't remember who she is. Mr. Gold is freaking out, and Hook is really excited because he got some revenge. But he's also in a lot of pain because he just got hit by a car. Because, of course, the big news is that a stranger has crossed the line and has made his way into town. And we're not really sure how that's happened yet. The number one theory, of course, is that maybe because Mr. Gold figured out how to cross the line, then that also allows maybe strangers to come across the line as well. So we're not really sure if that's a one-to-one ratio or if it's just a free-for-all and all of a sudden we're going to be crawling with strangers. I guess we'll see in the coming episodes. So I love the fact that when the ambulance gets out there and Emma gets out there and she goes to check on Hook, the very first thing he says to her is, "Hey, beautiful." And there's obviously something going on between the two of them. And I know there's quite a lot of people that are hoping that that kind of advances into something more than just friendship and, you know, like flirty banter. So Mary Margaret's out there and David and Emma, eventually they realize that there's a stranger there that no one knows who he is. So they're all a little freaked out. They decide to get him to the hospital, and there they kind of have this powwow where they're all trying to decide what do we do with the stranger, because obviously that's been the fear for the past couple of weeks, is that what's going to happen when somebody comes in here and sees the strange things that are happening in Storybrooke. We're going to have a big problem then. So there's even talk of what happens if we just let him die and all this other stuff, but finally David is just like, no, we're not going to let him die, we're going to do our best to save him. And so he sends Dr. Whale to go and basically do surgery on this guy to try to save him. Now this episode's backstory is really all about Dr. Whale, who of course we remember is Dr. Frankenstein. So when we flash back to Dr. Frankenstein's past, we find out that he's got this brother who's like a military hero, it looks like, and this dad who is really kind of prouder of the brother than he is of Dr. Frankenstein. So he's struggling with that whole thing. The dad wants to cut off his funding to Dr. Frankenstein's research, and of course, who should show up at that moment but Rumpelstiltskin. So Rumpelstiltskin basically offers him a ton of gold to continue with his research in exchange for kind of, I think, knowledge. So once Dr. Frankenstein has a breakthrough, Rumpelstiltskin wants in on that, basically. Dr. Frankenstein's all excited because he gets to finish his research, and to make a long story short, he's out digging in the graveyard trying to find a body that he can bring back to life when his brother shows up. And then the caretaker for the graveyard shows up and fires a shot and kills Dr. Frankenstein's brother, and so therefore his brother becomes really the first person that he brings back to life. Now if you remember, the first time that we actually see Dr. Frankenstein in the Enchanted Forest is when Rumpelstiltskin brings him back to try to bring back to life Regina's, like, this man that she's in love with. And of course it doesn't work, but he gets his heart and then he goes away. Well, what we learn is that he gets the heart, he comes back, he uses the heart on his brother, he brings his brother back to life, but of course his brother's a monster. So he's got this kind of immense, like, guilt that he's carrying around. So flashback to present day in Storybrooke where he needs to go do this operation, and he's basically drunk when they show up at the hospital. Plus you get that he's kind of like acting really strange, and then all of a sudden he disappears. Now Ruby goes off to find him because she's a wolf, you know, so she like sniffs his jacket and then she is on the trail basically. And she finds him, of course, and he's basically gonna jump off into the water. He was gonna kill himself. But she stops him, and the two of them kind of sit and have this just fantastic conversation, really. So what she says to him is that Storybrooke is really like a second chance for so many of them. Not all of them need a second chance, but like so many of them have really kind of strange and like just horrible backgrounds back in the Enchanted Forest, and so here they are now and they get a chance to like start life fresh, basically. And so it really kind of motivates him, and they really kind of make a great connection. He goes back to the hospital, he ends up operating on the stranger and saves him, and the stranger wakes up. So the stranger's awake, and since Emma is technically the town sheriff, she goes in to question him. And it was really funny though, because when she started questioning him, she was like so like Captain Obvious. I mean, it was just like, why are you acting so weird? Because she's all like, tell me what you saw. And it was just like, duh, he's not gonna say anything. But he basically said, look, I got into the accident because I was texting. I looked down for a second, I looked up, and there was somebody in the road, and you could tell he's like freaked out, and he's like, hey, is that guy okay? And she's like, he's fine, don't worry about it. And okay, so you're like, okay, great, he didn't see anything, that's great. You're gonna recover, and once the doctor releases you, then you can leave. Meanwhile, you know, of course, everyone realizes, hey, if Hook is here, then Cora is here. So Cora is trying to find her daughter, but her first stop she makes is to see Mr. Gold, who of course is all freaked out because Belle doesn't remember him. And there's a few really kind of traumatic scenes with him trying to get her to remember him. Like he goes to the hospital at one point while she's asleep and he kisses her. I don't know if he's trying to do the whole true love's kiss thing, but it doesn't work. And she freaks out because, hello, I'm waking up and there's a strange man kissing me. So she's like yelling at him to get out. And then at another point as well, he brings her the cup with the chip in it. Chip from Beauty and the Beast. He brings her the cup and, you know, he's just like, do you remember it? Like, and he tells her that he enchanted it and that if she just concentrates on the cup that she'll remember. But she's just like, dude, you are just way too, like, in my personal space. And so he just is pushing her so hard that she just finally freaks out and throws the cup against the wall and smashes it. So he, of course, is just heartbroken. So when Cora comes to see him, she comes to kind of trade. Like, I want my daughter, I'll give you your son, basically. So she gives him this device that he can use to find out exactly where his son is. So he's super excited, of course, and basically at the end of the episode, he goes to Emma and he calls in his favor. I think it was in season 1 in the Cinderella storyline where Emma asks Gold for a favor and he tells her, you're gonna owe me one. And so basically he calls that in. He says, I know where my son is, you need to come with me and we're gonna go find him. And that's kind of it. So obviously that means that coming up sometime in the near future, we're gonna have an Emma and Mr. Gold road trip. So that should be interesting. And he also lays down this like serious threat because he comes to the house where Emma and Henry and Mary Margaret and David are at, and he basically says, look, if anything happens to Belle while I'm gone, I'm gonna kill you all. So it was just kind of like, okay. Meanwhile, Cora goes off to try to find her daughter, so she goes to Regina's house. She snoops around until she finds this like handprint that Henry had made for her, and basically she transforms herself into Henry. She goes like to like Regina's like underground bunker. Somehow she finds that and she looks like Henry though, and she's kind of like, mom, and so Regina lets her in and it's all like, oh honey, I didn't kill Archie, and you know, blah blah blah. And then of course Cora reveals herself. And Regina is just kind of basically like, it was you who did this, we need to go back into town and you need to tell people what you did. And so Cora says yes, but you kind of get all along that she's not really gonna go for it. You know, I don't know, she just seems really kind of like manipulative, and so it was just kind of like, dude, why are you trusting her? So Cora just basically starts to drop like seeds of dissent and poison into Regina's brain, and telling her things about Henry, like, wouldn't you like it to just be you and Henry again? If we got rid of everyone else, then it would be like that. They don't understand you, and all this other stuff. And before you know it, you know, Regina is weeping in her mother's arms. So we get that, you know, that's going to be a problem. If Regina's really trying to be good, this is probably, you know, not headed in the right direction for that. And let's talk about Hook for like 2 seconds, because like I said last week, he's my new favorite Once Upon a Time character. He basically is in the hospital because he got hit by a car, and in the last episode he got beat up a lot. So he's got some broken ribs and stuff like that, and so he's in the hospital, and Emma goes to see him, and he's like handcuffed to the railing so he can't leave. So as far as he's concerned, he's well on his way to getting his revenge because of what happened to Belle, and he really gets that he hurt Rumpelstiltskin's heart. He hurt him when he hurt Belle. And so he's feeling very satisfied with himself. But Emma totally like shut that down. Like she pretty much tells him like, look, you're here. You're in the hospital with broken ribs. He's angry because you hurt his girl. And he's got magic. And basically I'm feeling like he's got the slight advantage here in this situation. So I thought that was kind of funny. Okay, now before I end, I want to talk about 2 quick things that happened in this episode that really felt like a major foreshadowing to me. One was that kind of at the end of the episode when, you know, Emma and Henry and Mary Margaret and David are all at home and they're eating, and I think they were having like cereal for dinner, which was kind of funny to me. So when they tell Henry kind of what's been happening happening today, Emma mentions that Dr. Whale is Dr. Frankenstein. And Henry's like, oh yeah. But then Henry goes and gets his fairy tale book, and he's like, you know, Dr. Frankenstein, like, his story is not in this book. And Henry kind of mentions, like, that would mean that his story is in another book, which means he comes from a different world. So basically, we have no idea who else could be in Storybrooke. If we've got people from other worlds and characters from other worlds, then that means that there could be all kinds of people out there that we don't know about. So I thought that totally opened the door to allow them to, like, basically bring characters from anywhere. You know, like, yes, we have fairy tale characters, but, I mean, we've got Dr. Frankenstein, so who knows who else will show up. And, of course, the other kind of big foreshadowing, or the big thing that happened in this episode is that we find out at the very end that the stranger lied to Emma. So he told her, look, I was texting, that's why I got into the accident. But at the end of the episode, we see him making a phone call to someone to say, oh my God, you'll never guess what I saw. So I think that means that, you know, there's probably going to be more strangers in Storybrooke. I don't know. Now, we don't have another episode for 3 weeks, which is kind of a bummer, because that's really like almost a month, which is kind of crazy. But boy, did the preview for what's coming up look really, really good. Basically, the theme of that preview is that things are about to change. So I think that it's about to go down in Storybrooke, and I'm expecting huge changes when we come back, so I'm super excited about that. But like I said, we'll have to wait 3 weeks for that, which is kind of a bummer. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget that I do recaps and reviews of tons of different TV shows, so make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.